Hello, Year 8. Welcome to your final online lesson. We're all very much looking forward to seeing you back in school from next week. We are starting our new topic today, and for the next couple of weeks, we are going to be having a look at the British Empire. And the big question that we are going to be focusing on is why can't historians agree about the British Empire? So the British Empire was at its height in the 19th and the first half of the 20th century. So in the 1800s and the first half of the 1900s as well. So what we're looking at is before Little Rock Nine, so before the civil rights movement in the USA, but after the slave trade. So we're looking in the middle of the two topics that we've done so far in Year 8. So the first thing we're going to be doing today is we are going to be leaving some space to write our date and title, and we are going to be making some inferences from this map here. So what I would like you to do is use the source to make two inferences about Britain in the 1800s. Now, before you do this, I want to point a few things out to you on this map. First of all, as you can see, we have a woman here who is representing Great Britain, who is sitting on top of the world. So I want you to think about what that suggests about Britain in the 1800s. Also, we have all of these people from different parts of the world staring, so looking in admiration at Britain. On the map itself, we have lots of different trade routes connecting the whole world to Great Britain. And also, we have these countries in pink, which represent countries controlled by Great Britain. So remember, when you're doing these type of questions, you need to use the following sentence starters. So you need to say one thing you can infer and then include the detail in the source which tells you this. You then need to repeat the process. So I would like you to pause the video now and spend 6 minutes doing this do now. Remember, leave some space for the date and the title. So pause the video now. Excellent, so we'll come back to that map in just a minute. But now I would like you to write down the title and today's date. So the title is, Why Did Britain Want an Empire? Pause the video now and spend 2 minutes writing the title and the date. So pause the video now. Okay, but first of all, I want us to start thinking about what we actually mean by an empire. Now, in Year 7, you are having a look at the Roman Empire, but I just want us to remember what the word empire actually means. So, in your books, underneath your do now, I would like you to come up with a definition of the word empire. We will go through this together in just a second, but I would like you to have a go yourselves to write your own definition. So pause the video now and spend a minute writing that definition. So you can pause the video now. Okay, great. So you might want to get a green pen out and make any additions to your definition. So I've written here a large group of countries ruled over by one single mother country. So within the British Empire, we've got one country, Britain, who rules over lots of different countries across the world. So pause the video to add to your definition anything that you might have missed. The second word that we need to define before we move on is the word colony. Okay, so right underneath your definition for empire, I would like you to write the word colony and try and come up with your own definition. Don't worry too much if you're not 100% sure, because we will be going through it in a minute. So pause the video now and have a go at writing a definition for colony. Excellent. So, a colony is a country ruled or controlled by another country. So, for example, we've got Britain here, and as you can see on the map, there's Australia, which is a colony of Britain. It's in pink, so it means that Australia is a colony of Britain. It is a country controlled by Britain. So get your green pen out and just spend a minute adding to your definition anything that you might have missed. So just pause the video now. So, as you can see from this map here, which has all of the countries ruled by Britain in red, that the British Empire at its height was absolutely enormous. It was actually made up of over 13 million square miles, which was nearly a quarter of the Earth's surface. It ruled about 500 million people, which was equivalent to a fifth of the world's population. And it was actually known as the empire on which the sun never sets, because it was just so massive and just covered so much of the Earth's surface. So what I want us to start thinking about is why we are going to study the British Empire and why does it matter? So what I would like you to do is go back to the Satchel One post and have a look at the video called Video 1. I want you to watch the video and then in your books answer the question here, why does the British Empire matter? So this should take you about 10 minutes in total. So I'd like you to pause the video now, watch the video on Satchel One and write the answer to this question here. Why does the British Empire matter? So you can pause the video now. So we're going to start having a think about why Britain actually wanted to have an empire in the first place. And now we have two sources on the video now that suggest some different reasons why Britain may have wanted an empire. I don't want you to write anything down. I would just like you to have a close look at the sources on the video and start thinking about what we might be able to learn from them about the reasons for Britain wanting an empire. So pause the video now and just spend 1 minute having a look at these sources in detail and start thinking about why Britain may have wanted an empire. Okay, so on this source here, what we can see is a man being baptized in the river. So what we might be able to learn is that one reason why Britain wanted an empire was because they wanted to spread Christianity. Here we have an explorer who is standing over the whole of Africa. So I think we might be able to pick up two reasons here. One, the fact that he's an explorer is maybe the British wanted an empire because they wanted to explore for exploration reasons, but also you can see from this stance that he's making that he had power over Africa. He's much bigger than the whole of this continent, so it shows that Britain wanted empire because of a lust for power. So we are now going to have a closer investigation about the different reasons why the British may have wanted an empire in the first place. So I would like you to draw this table out in your history books. You might want to turn your book's landscape so you have a little more room, and you're going to be needing about 3/4 of a page in order to do this. What I would like you to do is go back to the Satchel One post, and there is an attachment called Why Did Britain Want an Empire? Information. What I would like you to do is find at least 3 bullet points to go under each of these categories. So 3 bullet points to suggest that Britain wanted an empire because they wanted to trade, 3 bullet points to suggest that the British wanted an empire because they wanted resources, so they wanted gold, they wanted money, they wanted things like that, and so on. So you need to go back to the Satchel One post, open up the document, and add at least three bullet points to each column in your table. This is going to take you about 15 minutes, so I'd like you to pause the video now so you have a chance to do that. So pause the video now. Okay, so now we've done a bit of our own research on the reasons why the British wanted an empire, I want us to have a look at somebody else's interpretation of why the British wanted an empire. So what you need to do is you need to go back to the Satchel One post and you need to watch video number 2. Once you have watched the video, I want you to write the answer in your history book to this question here. What does this interpretation suggest about the reasons for the creation for the British Empire? So, pause the video now, and this task should take you about 10 minutes in total. So you can pause the video now to watch the video and write the answer to this question. Okay, so the final thing that we're going to be doing today, Year 8, is I want you to create a pie chart to show why Britain created an empire. And this pie chart is going to show what you think was the most important reason why the British became empire builders. So the largest segment in your pie chart is going to represent the most important reason, whereas the smallest segment is going to represent what you believe was the least important reason. So you can pause the video now and spend about 10 minutes doing your pie chart. Once you've finished, you need to take a photo of your work in your history books and send them to your teacher by the end of the school day. Thank you for all of your hard work, Year 8, and again, we look forward to seeing you all back in school next week. Bye-bye.